Hello and welcome. I'm Roger Knecht, president of Universal Accounting Center, and this is Building the Premier Accounting Firm. This podcast is dedicated to helping individuals start and build successful businesses offering quality accounting services to get you paid what you're worth. Each and every week, I provide to you the information you need that ranges from marketing, selling, pricing, to onboarding clients, retaining clients, offering quality accounting services. And today, I have an amazing guest. What I basically would like to invite to you or introduce you to is Precious. She happens to be someone that is a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. Precious Williams has also been featured on Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine, Black Enterprise magazine, Essence magazine, the movie Leap, and in her current clients, she's working with clients such as Microsoft, LinkedIn, Google, NBC Universal, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBooks, Harvard University, and I know there's something there that you can share, and so much more. So Precious, first of all, as a dynamic public speaker, as an effective trainer, and 3 times best-selling author, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
This is fun, Precious. You bring so much energy. I've seen you before on the stage. I've spoken to you a number of times. I'm excited about today's conversation.
Me too.
So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a few questions that I really want to ask just to kind of give some context to our listeners. The first thing is you're known as the pitch queen. In fact, the killer pitch master. What does that mean? What is pitching anyways?
Well, pitching is really like a short, brief way of introducing yourself, maybe your books, your brands, your business, your product or service to whom you hope is your target market, which will lead closer to what the sale, the deal, that sort of thing. And so you're just briefly, it's like if Oprah gets in the elevator with you, what are you going to say to get her to pay you attention?
The thing that I like about it is as a pitch, you're able to actually articulate very well, concisely, what it is you do and why it matters to the person listening.
Yes, very much so.
So now, as a pitch queen, you started a business around this. It's one thing to be really good at pitching. It's another thing to start a business. So tell me what the business really involves.
Well, the business is really about when I first started Perfect Pitches by Precious. It was as I was becoming a 13-time national champion, people would come and watch me and say, hey, I'll pay you anything. I want to learn to do what you just did, because you don't pitch like anyone else. You're not like, hi, my name is this is what I do. That is not you. And people can feel the emotion as well as the logic behind what I do, but I get them energized and they're like, ooh, I'm listening. And so the great thing about me is I like to interrupt patterns that people are used to so that all eyes are really on. So when it comes to pitching, it's not just enough to know who you are, what you do, and who you serve. That's great. That's a given. But how do you bait, attract, and close with ease, right? And so even if your target market isn't in front of you, maybe they're related to someone who is, and they'll hear you and be like, oh, I know exactly who I need to talk to about you. And now you have a referral from someone who can't use you, but knows someone who can. So you're not just pitching just to be pitching. You are making sure that your target market knows. Your social media posts are pitching. And so when people are working with me, especially entrepreneurs and speakers, is they come to understand that until you create your own lane and you're known for your own brand, no one's going to pay you attention if you're regurgitating what everybody else is saying. So you have to make it unique and flavorful. You have to give them a juicy morsel. Great.
Now, one of the things that's very impactful about this is many people are familiar with the 30, 60-second commercial idea. They're aware
Right.
of the premise of I need to be able to introduce and explain myself. But the thing that I love that you bring to this is energy. It's the
Of
emotions, the
course.
fact that sales is an emotional experience. And so it's not enough to just tell someone what we're doing. We've got to bring the energy to it. And one of the things you do so well is explain why that's so important and powerful. So it begs the question, do we all need to know how to pitch?
Yes, everybody needs to know how to pitch. If you are in high school, you need to know how to pitch. If you have a business, yes. If you are, selling something, if you're about to launch something, everyone needs a pitch. All of us have been in interviews, right? All
Oh,
of us
yes.
have tried to put forth an idea and hope. Everyone needs a pitch. And so when you understand that pitching is something you do on a daily basis, we talk about that no good man in your life, that no good woman, a great opportunity that came your way. You want to be the focal point of attention and then carry it all the way through to conclusion. And so if you take those principles and you add strategy, cunning, and precision on top of it, and make sure that your target market hears what they need to hear to know that you are the only choice that matters. And the reason why they call me the killer pitch master is because I'll help you slay all competition, big or small. It doesn't matter. You can cut through the clutter and the noise, especially in financial services, especially for accountants and bookkeepers. You can still cut through the clutter and the noise, but you can't sound like everybody else.
Well, one of the things that I love about what you're doing is, first of all, you're making it clear this applies to everyone. And there are personal applications of it. And I'm going to ask about those in a second. But then there's admittedly the professional elements of it. And the core of this really comes down to not just saying concisely what it is we do, but like you said, we've got to say it with spice, with energy. We've got to say it with conviction. We've got to be passionate enough about it that the person listening finds that it's contagious to want to learn more. So when you're talking about pitching, you've used this even personally in a way that I think is astounding. You shared one time how you've used this in your personal life just to get relationships and to have successful relationships with people. How does that apply on a personal side, just to kind of tie that in?
Well, remember I was telling you all, like, I met a very famous Hollywood actor and we dated when I was 327 pounds. It doesn't make any sense. I know, it still doesn't make any sense. But when I tell you about social media posts, when I tell you about when you're writing to someone, when you're in someone's DMs, it's all still a pitch. So I wrote a poem called To the Tango, and he loved it. And when we met, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to take one look and go the other way. Well, not only did he not walk the other way, we went and we had dinner. I'm thinking, oh, it'll never happen. We kept dating, and he would fly me out places, and I'm feeling like I'm so big, I'm not supposed to. And he said, you have to understand, you got me with the pitch. You kept me with the energy, and you're not like everybody else. You're not going to eat a salad. I'm full. You're gonna bring the funk, the noise, and the energy. And when I realized that was happening with him, I started looking at how people interacted with me, and they always looked my introverts. You do not have to have you don't have to have my personality. When I started, can we keep it a bug, Roger? People didn't sound like me. It was always just very, very boring. And I can't do that. And as a woman of color, as a Black woman, I wanted to be bold and go out there and show it. There's so many of us who are not confident in ourselves, and we think we have to look and sound and act like everybody else. My thing is, let's take everything they say is wrong with you and make it right. Exploit your difference and bring it to the fore. Too many of us want to be like everybody else. I don't. And I don't want that for my clients. So as finance professionals, as accountants and bookkeepers, what is the spice that makes you different? What are you uniquely called to do? Like, all finance professionals don't do the same thing. What is the niche that's going to make you, what? Rich.
There
what do
you
you
go.
specialize in? And in a way that gets people to say, ooh, I've never heard it that way. I understand she's talking to me, not the general public, not everybody. And so for all of you who want to talk about, ooh, I help everybody. No, you don't. And don't help. That's not a power word. Remember, you're hired to do something. You're not helping.
There you go. Very good. Now, one of the things that you said was the word spice. I like spice. Before you said the word, the one that was in my mind, and it's just because we're talking about this relationship you had, it's the word sexy. And I dare say that one of the things that's powerful about being sexy isn't necessarily the look. It is the energy that the person brings to the relationship. It's the passion that's there. And both of those are emotions. And we're not dealing with necessarily the looks and the attractions. It's dealing with the spice, as you said. And we need to bring that same type of thing to business, that energy, that enthusiasm, that passion. And it's when we bring that people want to know more. They want to engage with us. They want to see what can we do to pay to capture that energy for me, the client, because I want what you have in my business and I'm willing to pay for it. So as the pitch queen, you're actually sharing that energy is what we need to be bringing to the conversation, that excitement and enthusiasm. So are there different types of pitches?
Yeah, so there's 6 different types of pitches. You have your elevator pitch. So if you're going to networking events, that is your elevator pitch. They're 30, 60, 90 second. You have your media pitch. How do you get hyper-local, local, national, international media to pay attention to you? So that's the podcasting, that's radio, that's streaming, right? Film. And then you have your investor pitch. So if you're going, listen, I've been on Shark Tank. So think about it about going on Shark Tank. Where the money reside? Where the money reside? How do you speak to investors in a way that they're going to bet on you as a jockey and not your horse? How do you articulate that you are the only person that can pull this forward and you already have traction? So that's why facts, figures, and statistics are big with investors. It's not just, oh, I got a nice story. Well, nice stories can come in the church too, but that's not what they're looking for, right? And then you have the interview pitch. So all of us have been on interviews. If we have a certain age, you've been on an interview in your life. What do you need to see throughout the entire process of your interview so that by the time it's over, it's a done deal? Hang it up, flat screen. Then you have your speaker pitch. There are a lot of speakers paying. No one's calling. No one's emailing you. You have not created your own lane so that you dominate that space. As a killer pitch master, they don't call Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Brene Brown, Lisa Nichols, or all these other people. When they call for a pitch, they come to Precious. And that's why I'm not a motivational speaker. And finally, there's your sales pitch. What are you putting out there in all of your mediums that allow others to be like, oh, I'm watching, she's consistent, and I see why people are buying from her. Oh, she's got social proof. She's at events and people are buying. Now I want to buy because I want to know what they're going into. And it all works. If you're an author, it works. If you are launching something, this works. And it's a process. Pitching doesn't happen overnight, but if you keep at it, pitching ain't easy, but it sure is fun when you get the hang of it.
And it can be profitable if you pitch it right.
All day. Listen, pitch it for profit. That's all we know how to do.
There you go. There you go. Now, the thing that I heard as you were describing each of those different types of pitch scenarios is there must be a recipe that exists that if I'm preparing for one, there are certain elements that I need to make sure that I include because they need to exist in that pitch setting. Could you share with us an example of one of those and the recipe that makes it up?
Right. Okay. So different pitches require different elements. And so that's the one thing I really want you all to know. Yes, you can have a skeleton, but because they are different audiences, you can't use the same pitch on every audience, right? So listen to this. Ladies, raise your hands if you want to be a bad bitch with the power pitch. People clutching pearls, raise their hands. Fellas, raise your hands. Man with the master pitcher plan. I see you. My name is Precious Williams, and I am the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. So if you want to know where the money reside, and you want investor dollars in your company, come check me out at perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. You want media interest? You want to be on a Shark Tank? You want real dollars and cents? Then you should check us out at perfectpitchesbyprecious.com too. And then let's say you're at networking events and nobody's talking to you. You just said the dreaded pitch and no one cares. I'm gonna show you how to take your pitch from trash to what? Straight cash. You interviewing for jobs? No one's biting. Let's rejigger that pitch. Let's get it popping. And if you need to sell something and ain't nothing selling, you want explosive sales, this is the reason why I teach the art and the science of the most killer pitches, because I want you to slay all competition and get your most ideal prospect, turn them into clients and repeat clients. So again, go to my website, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. Come see why I'm a 13-time national pitch champion and why I will help you. Just like I went in with the Sharks on Shark Tank. You've seen the rest, now you've seen the best. Check me out, Perfect Pitches by Precious. Thank you.
There you go. All that element came with, I think, two really important, let's say, characteristics. First of all, you had energy. You were confident. You were actually delivering this with purpose. And that's one of the things that I think is contagious, because when we're giving our pitches, we cannot just sit back and assume that the information is going to do the work for us, that if we just say it's just going to resonate. No, we've got to bring the energy, the passion, that conviction. And that's what's obvious in what you're doing. And the other thing that I like about what you do is, like me, you tend to speak quickly. And so what I feel that does is it causes people to have to pay attention. I can't just slow it down and without that energy deliver the same message. I have to speed it up. And in doing so, people have to pay attention. They've got to stop what they're doing and listen. And that's one of the things that I think is so compelling about what it is you do, is you command that attention. And that's so important when pitching. So here's a question that I'm sure a lot of accounting professionals may want to ask, and it's pitching. Is it different for production or product-oriented type things versus service-oriented things? Because obviously in the accounting space, we're dealing with services that we're providing. Is there a distinction between the two?
There is a slight distinction, right? So my first company was Curvy Girls Lingerie. And when I pitched, you couldn't see my lingerie on stage. You could never. So I had to paint a picture and the audience them to go. And that's what a great pitch does, whether it's a product or a service. But when people have products that they can show off, that's an easier sell. When you have a service, you have to, again, still paint the picture in their mind. With being the killer pitch master and Perfect Pitches by Precious, you still had to understand, where does the money reside? Oh, sales. How do I make it juicy, sexy, so that people know that I am the only choice? When it comes to finance professionals, right? Since there are a lot of them, just like there are a lot of speakers, but no one can do it like me, nobody can do it like you. You have to make sure that, did you notice how I started with a question, or I said something startling? So start off with a question, a startling statistic, or a quote, because you're interrupting the pattern of what they're used to. Your company doesn't matter. So when it becomes between products and services, a lot of times people can put their products out there and people can touch it and play around with it. With the service, you definitely want to make sure that you're addressing a need that they might not even notice that they even had. And then you want to make clear you understand their challenge and that your solution, because you work with a lot of people like them, will help them in a way that most won't. And so that's why I can do product and service, but I focus more on service-based entrepreneurs because this works better for them instead of being able to show off products. Before I had books, I was still a killer pitch master. With my books, it just took it to the next level.
Now, that next level that you took, writing the books, becoming a corporate trainer, tell us about that. I'm sure everyone's kind of interested in that story of what it is that got you not only into that space, but you've dominated that space. You've gone from large corporation to large corporation. Let's talk about being a corporate trainer and working with these big companies.
Well, the greatest thing that I've learned in this journey is when I wrote my third book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency, is that once you have your pitches together and people know about what it is that you do, now you have to train your network to pitch you in spaces that you didn't even know existed, right? So I knew when the pandemic happened, right? I was working with entrepreneurs and speakers, successful, but they wanted to go to the next level. But when the pandemic started to happen, a lot of them were losing steam and feeling like no one's going to hire. They kept watching the news. But I knew that, over here, if I'm the killer pitch master, let me get into particular industries that need me and they don't even know it yet. So I went into technology, like tech, IT, and tech, right? So Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft. I didn't just walk through the door. I had to figure out, who do I know at these particular companies? How do I set them up to know? These are some of the things that I do. And I'd love to be able to, you've already seen my work. You've already seen me teach and train here. Do you think I would be an asset? Of course, the answer is yes. Okay. So, who do I need to speak to, or would you make a warm intro? Never a problem. And then I would give them the things to say so that I was included in the conversation. And then I told them, you've opened the door. I got it from here on out. You can be excused. I'm gonna take this. And then always remember them. But if I had no track record with them, then there's nothing to talk about, right? But because I built a network by pitching and by speaking in different spaces, I knew that tech companies struggle with people with big brains. They can do amazing things, but they cannot talk to each other very well. They can't delegate responsibility. So what I can do is I'm a communication skills expert. So I can teach about intergenerational communication, internal, external communication. How do interns introduce themselves to higher ups? How do people stand out? So how's that different from pitching? Well, now we're bringing it to a broader concept of communication overall. So if you're having a problem with young people, middle-aged people, and older people, how do we create a program that's great for everyone? And so everyone feels being brought in different ways. For Google and Microsoft, I was there for hackathons and training and teaching. How do you articulate this big idea that you're putting out there? So you see, it's about really getting genius in. Everybody comes to big corporations like, oh, I could train on this. I could be it. I could do this. That's not what I'm going to do. I know what your real problems are because I'm hearing it. And so I'm going to come in a different way with my pitch. I'm going to have someone who's a warm link between us. And then when I get in and I do a great job, I'm going to look for your testimonials because I'm going to ask for them. And then after that, would you put me on? The people who book me, would you put me on to other organizations similarly situated if you think that I did a great job and that worked? That's what happened in nonprofits. So let's say nonprofits couldn't pay me. But you know what? I said this. Let's say If I do a good job, you have to warmly introduce me to three of your corporate partners. You have to do it in a way that's pleasing to both of us. And it worked. And so just being very strategic about it, but also not doing the okey doke that most people will do. Oh, I can put, oh, your clients are leaving. There's a high turnover. Baby, everybody's going to say that. Let's find a different way to get in, and let's find a person to help us. And even if we don't have that person, there are people around who can massage this to get us through the door.
Yeah, one of the things that I really liked about what you shared there as you got into that corporate space and started doing those speaking engagements and so forth is you shared some very timeless proofs as to how to market and sell services. The first thing that you were trying to do is break it down to something that they could see applying in their business. And communication is exactly right. We as accounting professionals try to articulate the accounting information, the financials, in ways that the business owner can use that information to make more informed business decisions. It's communication. And as you were working with these clients, you were able to see how what you could offer or bring was relevant to them. And it's that communication. But in order to get the business, you started to share a few things that were very helpful. One of which was the nonprofit example. A lot of times what happens is we find opportunities, but because there's not a monetary component, we wonder, is that even worth its while? But you shared it's not what we know, it's who we know, and it's leveraging those connections to get the introductions, quality introductions to that next potential customer. And that's where you were leveraging this to grow your business. And you adapted during this past COVID experience to adapt your business and still bring in clientele and still be relevant. And I like how you pivoted in order to benefit from that situation. So thank you for those gems. So here's my next question. You wrote books. Why the books? Why did you choose to write the books?
So I chose to write the books because just because I'm a killer pitch master, it doesn't mean that everyone knew me. And one of the things that constantly came up is people would ask me, had I wrote a book? So I worked with a book coach, and because I had this vision in my mind of bad bitches and power pitches. And 3 years ago, I kind of put it online just to see, the title, and people were kind of hating on it. Well, I met the right woman, because everybody comes, oh, I can help you. I want to publish it. I want it to be a bestseller. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I'm bad. And so met the right woman. I showed her my outline. She said, no wonder you can't write this, because this is 3 books in one. She said, you're a speaker. I'm a writer. She said, so we worked together. She created a great outline. So every week I had to turn in a chapter. And I'm not telling you writing is easy for me, even though I'm a former attorney. But I got so excited because I started off with the psychology of pitching, not prompts. Prompts you can get on Google. They're not going to be helpful because they're generic. But I wanted people to understand that there are seven branding personas to pitching, right? And so if you understand, are you unstoppable? Are you ruled by power? Are you funny? Are you mysterious? Are you ruled by numbers? Like all these things you need to know, like what mostly runs you. And then once you figure out which one or two you are, especially with celebrities and influencers and business people who match those, now you're ready for my second book, which was Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook, which comes with all different types of prompts. So it's not just the 6 different pitching types, but is it large or small audience? Is it this and that, so that it's specific to you and what you need to do to build your brand? So the prompts are just so deep going in. And as the killer pitch master, if I'm a master, my things should look easy. When you try it on your own and it's hard, that's when you understand the level of professionalism that I bring to the game and what you all bring.
Precious did an excellent job of sharing what it is that we're doing to pitch our services and explain who it is that we are. In doing that, she actually has a special offer that we can take advantage of going to the episode description. And there you will find 2 things that she's making available. First is the pitch quiz. Definitely, I suggest you going and taking advantage of this. It's something you'll learn from about your style and what it is you're doing. And then she also has her triple threat pitch book bundle that you'll want to take advantage of in the episode description. So go there and get the information you need to take advantage of those options or those offers. In addition to that, I'm going to also put in the episode description a link for you to get a free copy of the book all accounting professionals should use as they work on their business to become more profitable. This is a book that everyone needs to actually have in their library to provide the premier accounting services that you in fact want to. And it is the 9 principles to be profitable in your business. It's called In the Black. It has the short-term, mid-term, and long-term objectives that you need to be putting forth as a priority in your company to, in fact, make your business profitable. In addition to that, you're also going to have access to what is called Red to Black in 30 days. It is a small business accountant's guide to quick turnarounds. It literally allows you to become, for your clients, the business first responder they need to address the very problem that most business owners face. It's the most common one that they experience, and it's cash flow management. And it gives you exactly the turnkey process to, in fact, go in there and be their profit and growth expert. So with that in mind, go to the episode description and take advantage of those offerings. But in closing, let me just kind of recap some of the highlights of what I shared or felt that Precious shared with us. And it's, first of all, the pitch is essential for all of us to be using personally and professionally. As a pitch queen, she eloquently showed us how it's to be done and some of the elements that need to be included in the pitch in order to be successful. The other thing that I felt that was very helpful with regards to her explaining this is she talked about her evolution as the pitch queen and how she was able to step into that position and really take it to the level of speaking at corporate events and working with large corporate customers and companies. Now, the one thing that I do want to end with is this. As we each work to grow our businesses, we need to focus on things that we can do to better explain our services and what it is our clients get from working with us. And so if you can take some time to look at your pitch and what it is you can do to bring into it the energy and the passion that you have for what it is you do for your clients, then this is the perfect way to go about doing that. Follow these principles that she has shared with us, and Precious won't do you wrong. With all that being said, I also want to invite you to listen to our other episodes and obviously subscribe to this podcast so that you can get the notifications you need to be reminded of the episodes that come out each and every week. This podcast is dedicated to helping you hear from the experts and learn what it is you can be doing in your business to offer quality accounting services and get paid what you're worth. For more information on how you can benefit from these principles in your business, go to universalaccounting.com or give us a phone call at 801-265-3777. And always remember this, if it's about accounting, it is universal. Take care and have a great day.